The mismanagement, as you rightly said, there are a lot of, there are around 35 registered finance companies. There are more than a dozen of unregistered companies. So all these people have taken public deposits, paying high interest. Sometimes the interest rates have gone up to even 40% per annum, which is not practically possible, because in order to pay 40%, these companies should make profit of over 70%. And to make profit of over 70% is not possible for any business. So therefore, what they have done is they have taken public deposits, paid depositors interest from the deposit that they subsequently get. This is called Ponzi theory, which was practiced almost a century ago in America. The guy came from Italy to America by the name of Ponzi, who started the similar scam. He takes your deposit and start your own ventures, which is not probably viable as a business entity. And you take deposit, you continue taking deposits and pay the interest of the depositors. So once the cycle collapses, the entire business will collapse, and subsequently the depositors will neither get their interest nor the capital. Similar thing happened over here. Look at some of the companies. They have been taking deposits. Now, for example, Golden Key. When they collapsed, they have been paying the depositors around 35% interest per annum, which is practically not possible. In order to, as I told you, in order to pay some person interest of 35%, you need to have a yield of over 70%, because you have interest component of 35%, and you have your overheads, you have other expenses, and you need to make profit also. So when the business won't become very viable. You take deposits or renew deposits and pay the withdrawals, or maybe the deposit, the interest. When something happens, this crisis, due to, there were certain other issues as well, like Sakvati scam, the Dua Mudalali, the Golden Key, the major crisis, running up to around 20 or 27 billion, they say. And these companies do not have enough assets. If the company is running to liquidation, as I told you, it will go up to 10 to 20 years. The innocent stakeholders, not only the depositors, the contractors, the employees. Now, see, people talk about depositors. Now, people do not talk about the employees of these entities. Over 1,000 people, what has happened to them? It has been added to probably unemployment, which is at 5.5%. That means around 570,000 people are unemployed at this moment.
Because of this?
Not because of this. I am talking about unemployment rate. These people were added probably to that lot now. So a lot of effects, impact. Not only the depositors are affected, all the other stakeholders are affected.
Now, 9 companies that collapsed in the period of 1988, and the companies that collapsed in the 2008. If you look at the root causes of for the collapses, for the reasons of collapse of these companies in these two periods, in these two eras, are they similar in content? Like
yeah. Now see, out of these 9 companies, 3 companies were rescued or rehabilitated by it's very very interesting to note that by Selinco Group.
Very ironic situation.
Very ironic situation, because 3 companies were rescued. Now after 20 years, the merchant bank has come forward to rescue these 2 entities. All the other 6 companies went into liquidation. Now this namely Panadru Finance, The Finance and Guarantee, and Asian Finance. They were taken over by Selinco 20 years back, and again after 20 years we feel that these companies were not properly managed. Similar root causes that existed probably 20 years back is there now. So now we have come to rescue these entities.
Now, when these companies collapsed and there was a clamor and hue and cry by the depositors, the government made a wise decision by appointing the state sector financial organization to oversee these companies. For instance, the organization Merchant Bank of Sri Lanka was entrusted the task of overseeing the affairs of the Finance Company, the 50-year-old The Finance Company. While some people appreciated and praised this move by the authorities, another group of people pointed out this was a situation a hand in glove situation. There was a hand behind this move, and the government was interested, not the government, interested persons were trying to buy over these companies. What is your answer for this question? How can you clarify that?
And you made a little mistake. It is not 50 years old, it is 70 years old. This is the fourth registered company in Sri Lanka, and this is the largest and the first finance company in Sri Lanka. If you look at the size, it is around 30 billion company, where more than 1,500 employees are employed, and it has been serving for last 7 decades. Maybe, you know, few millions of people.
Yeah.
And I have come across people who have invested money over 30 years of period. And what happened was that the finance was initially given to Lanka Putra when they have when they started having troubles, and they did their task during that period. Maybe around 2 months they managed, and central bank wanted somebody else to come with a lot of innovative ideas. It was us. The challenge was thrown at us. We took it with you know, although it was a big challenge, you know, we were prepared, because at merchant bank we have a lot of professionals who has having similar experience, because merchant banking business is, you know, restructuring businesses. It's part of our merchant banking business. So we had experience, our professionals had experience in handling this type of situations. So we took over the challenge, and we have been having, you know, steady progress and growth of this entity for last couple of months. And we were talking about I don't say that government has any hands in taking over these entities, but there was a situation that you know, MBSL had to take over the finance indirectly from a holding company. We made that investment, and of course what we did was, like, we did not buy anybody's share. We invested a reasonable amount of capital into the holding company in order to get the control over the finance, to make sure that that entity will have good shareholders. That's like, you know, now it belongs to 37% of shares are with the merchant bank through the indirect, you know, through that particular company.
It was a direct investment into that company through the holding company.
Yes.
You didn't buy anyone's shares.
No, we did not buy anyone's share. What we did was, we induced capital into the holding company, a reasonable stake. We did the due diligence, and accordingly we invested money, and we took control of other finance through that holding company.
Could you be kindly more elaborative on why you didn't buy the shares of anyone else? Why did you decide to pump in cash directly? Because when the finance was on a downscale, there were many people who were ready to sell their shares.
No, I think that, you know, since the situation is very complicated, that if you are buying somebody's shares, it will probably, you know, trigger, you know, like suspicion. So, you know, people might find it's not ethical. So therefore we did.
Because you are buying at a lower rate.
No, it's a public quoted company.
Yeah.
So you cannot buy.
Yeah.
It's a public quoted company, and we cannot buy, you know, some percentage. But we managed to like communicate with the shareholders of that particular company, and they were convinced that, you know, we are the only people who can come forward and rescue this. Because it's